Hey guys, 152 here of course. Today we're playing the Mainz with Highfound and D-Rips in his Terrible. Now he's failed divisioning here and I don't condone it, but he's a glutton for punishment, so that's all I'm going to say in that regard. Anyway, we're just working on a tier 8s. I'm grading some credits right now because I've done most of them pretty much, so this is what I'm doing here. And looking at matchmaking, we've got some legendaries involved. We've got a pretty nasty division of Obstacle and Fletcher and is that a division? No, there you go. That's a pretty nasty division for a terrible tier 6 destroyed to deal with, so never a good idea to fail division, folks, unless you're 100% confident in your games, and even so, it's just you're letting your team down unless you don't perform well above what you're supposed to do, because you're just asking a lot. Without much further ado though, we'll get into the game. Really discussion that I'd like to bring into this is the Mainz and the Weimar. Similar beasts entirely. Now, by the time this video is released, updates should pass, so I can talk about these things. The Mainz has the same reload as the Weimar, pretty much the same reload. The Weimar's got a little bit better, and the Weimar's not getting its 4th slot, so the Mainz and the Weimar are going to have similar DPM. The difference is the Mainz has the better armor and the better AP, as well as, that's pretty much it. Better armor and better AP. I think maybe slightly better sonar. They've got the same sonar. Also, the Weimar is getting heals as well, which I'm really not a fan of, but instead of coated in 25 plating like the Weimar is, this has got 27 plus Icebreaker, which can probably out even 15-inch and 16-inch guns if the shell's at the right spot. But the Mainz, played by a decent player, is a 3K printing machine. It's actually very rarely I play the boat, but when I do pull the Mainz out, it's very, very rare. I actually don't get a 3K game. It's actually insane how powerful this boat is. Really good, really competitive, and the Weimar is going to be it's not going to be much different, because cruiser play, unless you're in Edinburgh, and even then, your job isn't really to tank any shells. At least in my opinion, there are people who think the agility builds are working on everything, and I respectfully disagree. I just don't think that's the case. Cruisers you aren't supposed to put yourself in the line of fire with cruisers. You're supposed to play them safe, carefully, and do what you can. Only risk your ship when it's acceptable to do so. And when it's acceptable to do so is when you're hunting down destroyers. You can risk your ship against destroyers. You don't want to risk your ship against battleships, because in a perfect world you would get dev struck pretty much, because battleships, like almost 9 times out of 10, ignore all cruiser armor. So you need to be very careful with that, and you can't rely on the overpen mechanic all the time unless you're in some broken ships. But even so, good cruiser play does not rely on being overpenned, it relies on not being hit in the first place. So you need to play this carefully. With the Mainz again, you see the sonar, very effective. We're perma-spotting that Ostergotland. He's now escaped the sonar detection range, but having me there, that present, that deterrent, if they push forward that corner, they're just going to get melted by Mainz DPM. It's going to be pretty disgusting, and the torpedoes are also another deterrent. We've got to help out our Terrible as much as possible, because he's going to lose the gunfight to either one of those, just 1v1. Meantime though, we're in this cap, we're capturing this point here. I'm very surprised the DDs haven't gone to contest this, but they probably will soon. And 20 seconds left. We're spotted, which means the destroyer has poked out there. Remember now, actually, the Fletcher's gone around the other island. He's straight where my reticle is aiming at. I'm pretty comfortable in that decision. I think I've proven it right. Yes, he's over there. And he's actually attacking our Terrible. Now, again, Fletcher is insane when it comes to gunboateries. It's pretty darn insane. It really is quite strong. And you can see how much little time the Fletcher has to take down and attack our Terrible. But we actually take him out there, but you can see the Terrible's actually taking a massive beating. If we were a couple shovels too short, maybe we missed that salvo another one, that little Terrible may have burnt to death. We don't actually know, but the damage they did is pretty substantial. Now, these torpedoes, we should have been more prepared for them, but we really wanted to get the shots in on the Fletcher. And even if we take one torpedo, it probably would be worth it. But hopefully you won't. Here, do we reverse in time? Yes, I think we do avoid this. This is very good. But now we need to start pushing forward and getting involved in flushing the Ostergotland out. Now, something I didn't account for is there's additional torps coming in. Those are Ostergotland torps, I believe. Yeah, only 8,000 damage there. I believe that's also Gauntlet Torps that come in just after the Fletcher Torps. I thought I was safe, pushed forward, and only took the hit. Fortunately, it was only the Oster, but still, bit of a misplay there. Not good. You should have been more aware of it, but then again, I wasn't looking at the time, so yeah. Yeah, so you live and learn. Now, Flandry looks like he's going to YOLO YOLO here and push forward. And again, you can't rush the Mainz because it has enough torpedoes to sink you and then sink your buddy as well. You know, so we got to be careful with this. Now, he does actually take the wide route by turning completely far left here, from our perspective here. So he's not. It looks like he's not pushing. Neither is the Monarch. So we actually see a broadside Minotaur. And Mainz has really got really spicy AP, so let's see if we can deal with him while we're in this kind of stalemate situation here. To reverse to get all our guns here, and it's perfectly fine if we do that. But while we're doing that, Leostogotlin pokes his butt out here and starts noticing that we did that. Smart play by him. This is the best time for him to come out. We citadel the Minotaur and we actually just rip him a new one. Always good. We don't need sonar to know torpedoes are coming. We do take one in the nose again, but that's fine. The saturation is already kicked in. And we have AP, but it doesn't really matter. Terrible takes him out, always good. Even if the Terrible didn't take him out, I'm pretty sure we would have got some really good results there. We have a Monarch pushing us here. Monarch's only 15-inch guns. We're coding 27, so we shouldn't take too much damage from this exchange. He's giving us a pretty flat broadside, so we're going to keep the AP going. We don't want to overextend in towards that Flandre, so we need to be actually slowing ourselves down and just preventing a small target while just doing as much DPM with our main guns here as possible. The AP on the Mainz is no joke, especially to a broadside battleship at that range. You definitely want that. Now, he does double fires, which we had to burn the flood before, so that's pretty darn annoying, but we do have a heal proccing. Not exactly the best situation for us, but hey, we'll do what we can. Now, this Mogami, I'm not sure if he's going to give us a broadside. We're just trying to find that out, really. But he's the next best target for us to go here, as long as we can hold. We've taken a cap as well, but he's the next best target for us, the most safe target. You could say I could play it risky and go after Flandre, but even with 15-inch guns, Flandre can still cause a mighty wallop. We've got to be very careful in that. Mogami's not really giving us the angle, but hey, we're trying. You never know, we might get something decent out of it. Maybe just a rear pen or something. We get 2 shatters, that's unfortunate, but hey. Right, at least we're trying. Now, before we push into that exchange, we really don't want to do it, really. It's too risky. We're pushing into a Suzuya, a Flandre, and I think there's a Georgia there as well. And Georgia's particularly scary because Georgia just basically eliminates cruisers very effectively because of the 30mm horn batch. So it's pretty darn disgusting to deal with that, honestly. And yeah, it's going to be pretty hard. So, we're thinking, should we push out, should we not? And then Hive tells us something very important. We are up on points, and we have a cap lead as well. We don't actually have to push, so we can just sit here and we can just have a lovely old time, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know. So yeah, we're actually even on ships, I believe. Yeah, even on ships. We have the cap lead. We have 300 points to their 200 roughly. So we're actually up in points. We don't have to be too crazy here. The Chapayev, we have 2 on A cap, I believe, and again the 2 battleships, and then another cruiser as well, Suzuya. Now, Suzuya looks he's coming this way, and we've got the Flandre here, so we can poke a little bit out, but we need to be careful but not overextend here. This is how we can die, and this is how you lose games, by getting a little bit too greedy. Flandre's over there. It looks like he's not in the position to fire us just now. Suzuya pops in here. We get AP on him. It should be doing some pretty nasty work on him. Not as much as we'd like, honestly. He does start angling, and we do need to start slowing down. We've already fired the torpedoes off. We have our sonar on active here. We need to get it on. We need to start presenting an angle and really trying to murder the Suzuya. I could probably switch to HE. It's probably better right now, but the Mainz AP is pretty good, but I really can't afford not to switch. I'm just feeling that way. We get the citadels that we needed here. Risky as hell. I really don't want to be doing this straight here, but we got to try our best here. Suzuya is playing it relatively well, and I'm just waiting for him to do his turn for the torpedoes. His torpedo angles are pretty poor, and he doesn't know if I have torpedoes on that set. He might have known, but now he definitely doesn't. We get 4 citadels that we need. Finally, a bit of redemption there. Flandre's pushing out a little bit, but it's actually not focused on us. So now we switch to HE. Georgia's over there. We need to really hug the island to make sure that Georgia cannot shoot us, because Georgia is just straight up terrifying. you really got to respect Georgia. He does fire HE, I think, so that's always good. And yeah, we can sit here and mitigate any fire we can. I don't think we can get shot by the Georgia. And now we just start dacking down this Flandry. And yeah, just really raking up the damage. Again, when you've got the Mainz, the quarter pen with the main battery guns, the 150s is pretty darn disgusting. It's pretty powerful. Also, the rate of fire is pretty insane as well. And, you know, it's really going to help you out. And yeah, like, so there we go. We bounced most of that. We did take a pen there. We're not really healthy. We're on 10k health, not much at all. But hey, we're doing what we can, and we're still doing work here. Hive is also putting some mad work on putting some mad work on the Flandry. George is shooting at him, I believe, or it could be the chap I have. I'm not 100% sure there. It's very hard to see when we're recording these. At the time, I probably knew, but yeah, risky. I think a little bit risky from Hive there. He's out in front of a Flandry and a Georgia potentially, so very risky in his part. But hey, he's pulling it off, and he's not really losing much health in the exchange either. So GG's to him as well. And yeah, we're acceleration duking. We're trying to mitigate as many shots as possible. Just steering as well helps you out, but you got to use your rudder as well, and your engine, rudder, and you know, you'll dodge a lot of shots because people don't expect the maneuverability of a lot of boats. And I'm not running an agility build. You don't actually have to run an agility build to dodge shells. It's really not that hard, honestly, especially at range. Now, we're just attacking down this Flandry. He's got no chance, honestly. The poor thing, he's getting attacked down by a Mogami with 203s and the Mainz with the quarter pen at 150s, so it's pretty darn rough. Hyde picks up the high cal. We're bouncing shots off Flandry again because we're quoted in 27 and above, so that's always nice. And yeah, we probably should be getting our high cal ourselves pretty soon. There we go. Now, I'm on 4 kills, and I actually do realise this, and Hive, what a gentleman he is, he actually offers to get me the Flandry kill, and that's nice of him. He's like, you know, hurry up and do it quickly. So I actually do pull off. So it's a big thank you to Hive there. I actually did get me that kill. I don't know. We maybe still could have got it, but you know, there are gestures there. And I'm gonna say thank you to Mr. Hive, you know, because he did actually let's get that 5th kill there, and that was always nice of him. So now we have no incentive, no need to push any further, but it's just 3 of us in the division. It's a little terrible, Mr. Hive and myself, versus the 2 remaining ships, which is the Chapayev and the Georgia. Now, we don't actually need to push this, but, you know, Hive is pretty comfy, he can run away. The Terrible is the fastest TD at tier 6 with the speed boost, so he can run away, which means I can go for the full YOLO here and possibly get 7 kills, I believe. Is it 5? Yes, like 7 kills. So my biggest concern is the Georgia. I can maybe deal with the Chapayev. I'm not really as concerned because if he gets in broadside, I can just murder him with AP. But Georgia can absolutely hurt me, even if he just gets a couple pens on me. The damage he does with his Alpha Strike is just so damn high. It's too damn high. So, you know, we gotta really respect the Georgia, and we gotta be very careful about it. So we all 100% fire torpedoes there. As you saw when you looked at the indicator, he was just about to get in range. And yeah, now he's in range, but he's turning off here. These torpedoes are going to have to be on cooldown. That's a little bit unfortunate, but hey, our biggest concern, at least in my mind, is getting rid of the Georgia, because he's the one that could really decimate us. You know, two decent pens and that's it, or even a couple overpens. Enough overpens would probably kill us. So yeah, pretty darn devastating, the Georgia. So Chapayev has fired off his radar. We're going to fire some torpedoes here, some Hail Mary torps to really get rid of this Georgia maybe. But Georgia doesn't actually seem to be the biggest problem here, so it's a bit odd. We have the HE the first salvo, we have the AP the next. Getting rid of the Georgia is just so important, and we're going to try our best to get rid of him. And looks like the torpedoes are going to do it, so now we can focus our efforts on Chapayev. Yeah, we get rid of Georgia, there we go. We really want to try and turn our ship to get around the other side here, but he's not going to let us really, and we have to turn off the other way, so it's a bit of a shame. We try and get the AP in his broadside, but it's not going to work, and he's got torpedoes on his corner. Of course, we do those torpedoes on cooldown. He's got us, unfortunate, hey, but it doesn't really matter too much because, as I mentioned before, the Laterable is far away from the action, as far away as he should have been, hopefully, and he does run away for the final win. Looks like Hive went down to either the Georgia or the Chappie, but again, as you said, try and get as much as possible. Only the 6 kills, but the Chappie is actually burning from our fire, but I don't know if that's be enough to kill him. Duke can pick up the Confederate before the game ends there. And yeah, pretty good. We actually finished the campaign because we got 3.6k. So we're trying to decide what flag we want because we have both the ships. So we're probably going to go with the black flag. It's a little bit nicer. And plus the black is probably the better option in these out of this choice, honestly. So we went for the black here. And yeah, that's pretty much nice there. So 103 in the campaign, 146k, 6 kills, 3.78 k base XP, Hive with a 2.7 game, and D-Rebs with a 2.7 as well. 146k, 7 citadels, 10 fires, 247 shell hits. Pretty impressive in terms of raw results, but honestly, the Mainz prints these like nobody's business. It's a very good ship, and the Weimar is going to be very close to that. So, I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. I think that's all. This helps your decision making. And yeah, have a lovely day, guys. And yeah, that's it. Bye for now, guys. Make sure to comment down below what you want covered next for your masterclass or whatever you want to do. I'll try and get as much done and see what I can get done.